Oh. Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Yesterday, we announced that we will support our community by making Meaningful Mornings more comprehensive with chanting, collaboration, contemplation. This is all in an effort to make our lifestyle more oriented towards contemplation. Contemplation is to delight, to finally have this vision to be delighted with every article being circumstance. Occasionally, seekers, they will message on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or they'll email our crew or me sharing, can't we keep these recordings up for longer than 24 hours? Please note, when we begin our comprehensive offering, there will be a recording for one day. I know some of you have sleep challenges. You're in different time zones. So this will stay. We will share more details about that soon. The point I'm trying to make is, Meaningful Mornings is around 18 minutes. Every day, we have 1,440 minutes. 18 divided by 1,440 is 1%. We will find 18 minutes to call a friend. We will find 18 minutes to listen to the news. Can you find 18 minutes to listen to Sri Krishna? His news sharing. This will be a great test of what's more important to you. Concentration and collaboration and contemplation, or convenience. In the last verse, Sri Krishna very strongly denounced a life of convenience, a life of comfort, the path of least resistance. Sharing more insights into this. Have any of you become healthier because of your pursuit of pleasure? Kama, putrarina. Do you know anyone who's become healthier? I indulged so much last night. I slept well. I woke up well. I'm feeling good. Pleasure at a physical level is simply a sensation. When a cupcake, a red velvet cupcake with creamy frosting, when that hits your tongue, it's just a sensation physically. You putting your finger on your tongue, that's also a sensation. But then what happens is mentally, there is sarcasm. Many of you would describe yourself as not being sarcastic, but if your mind is exaggerating what that sensation is, that is sarcasm, isn't it? This tasted so good, and that sounded the best. When you're asleep, when you're dreaming, there are still physical sensations. You can hear sounds. You can even hear the most beautiful music, but the mind is sleeping. In a dream, the mind is engaged in a different way. There's no sarcasm. So there's no living for pleasure. I'm trying to point out to you, this is a mind game. It is not a physical game. More insights. For us to experience pleasure, we have to align our sense organs with sense objects. Now, our sense organs are always changing. I pointed out that they're getting older, more dull. And sense objects are always changing, correct? When we're trying to align two entities that are always changing, it makes one tired. Right now, I'm enthusiastic, but as soon as I finish with you, I go and I dress our children, and they're an entity that is moving. I'm trying to align taking their clothes off and putting their clothes on, and it's tiring. Another insight. Pleasure is always future-oriented. Our sense organs are not intrinsically pleasurable. Are you enjoying your eyes right now? My eyes feel so good. They're just built with pleasure. They're just there. And no sense object is built with pleasure also. How many of you prefer salty foods over sweet foods by show of hands? See, you can't say a bag of chips is pleasure or ice cream is pleasure. So it's only when these sense organs contact the sense objects, then there's as if creation of pleasure, but that's future oriented. Neither the sense organs nor the sense objects in the present are built with pleasure. Final insight into this before we continue. Pujya Swami Tejo Mayananda, he shared this example with us. Imagine you're burning, as in your body is hot. So what do? You look for shade. When one lives for pleasure, it's like they're looking for shade from the hood of a cobra. A cobra's hood will create some shade, correct? So imagine you're hiding in that shade. But what inevitably is going to happen? That same cobra is going to bite us. And that same cobra is going to swallow us. That's what pleasure has done and will continue to do if we do not direct our physical and mental personality. Physically, be healthy. That's Dhamma. Mentally, be hardworking. If you're a hardworking person, the mind doesn't have the opportunity to be sarcastic. Healthy and hardworking. We continue. Verse 23 is a verse that we've come across already in chapter 3. I'll share with you. Shaknoti heva yasodhum praksharira vimokshana kama krododbhavam vegam sayuktas sasukhi naraha. Yaha. Yaha is in reference to who can do this? Who is like this? Iha eva. Here and now. Sodhum shaknoti. their withstanding ability is great, is significant. That's the translation. What I want to focus on right now is iheva, which means here and now. In Sanatana Dharma, there is a very logical sharing of iha, which means now. That one has to put in effort now. One can experience enlightenment now. In a sacred science, which we're engaged in, this is not in relationship to time. You being part of Meaningful Mornings for 600 mornings in an insincere way is less effective than you being involved with Meaningful Mornings for 6 mornings in a sincere way. See how it's not time related? Now means one should be less future oriented. That I'm going to put in effort in the future. I'm going to be enlightened in the future. In Sanatana Dharma, there is not a concept of judgment day. That I'm going to do this today, then when this body dies, then I'm going to have a judgment day of where I'm going to go, who I'm going to be. Point to me where heaven and hell are. Iha, correct? Here, now. Iha, powerful word in this verse. Specifically, prak, which means before. Sharira, body. Vimokshana, before this body dies. And this is a lovely quarter. How honestly Shri Krishna is sharing with Prince Arjuna, you are going to die. Many times I feel we compromise on our sharing with others where we will share everything will be all right. Sometimes everything will not be all right. So very honestly, he's sharing, you are going to die. All of us are going to die. The importance again is iha. Put in the effort now. Feel the enlightenment before this body dies. More implication of this, whenever we reflect on our sharira, what comes up sometimes is this sense of varna. Varna means color, color of my personality. And so we feel people who have this varna, this type of personality, they're the ones who can put in the effort, but not me. Or ashrama, that's even more so. Ashrama means position. This body goes through different positions as a student, as one who's retired. Haven't we succumbed to the idea that you're supposed to put in effort when you're a vanaprastha? Most of the people we know, when do they actively get involved with Bhagavad Gita? Let's say when they're 60 and older. That means one's not following iha. Now. Third quarter, Vegam. Vegam means a tsunami. It means an avalanche. Udbhava. This is born from kama and krodha. Kama means desire, krodha means anger. I hope you're connecting the dots. Shri Krishna is sharing the one who can withstand here and now desire and anger. In chapter 3, when Shri Krishna had completed teaching Karma Yoga, Prince Arjuna asks a question. Atakena prayukta. What forces one to not follow the intention path? Balat. With great force, they're being directed in the wrong way. And Shri Krishna replies, Kama eshaha, krodha eshaha. It is desire, it is anger that inhibits us from following what is right. I'd shared with all of you that chapter 5 is a summary chapter. See how chapter 3 is being pulled in. Completing all of this, sayukta, the one who can withstand desire and anger. Sasukhi, that person is joyous, is independent. Sanaraha, that person is a human. Only that person is a human. The key word in this entire verse is sodhum. Sodhum means to withstand. Opening this up, I've shared with all of you in different ways. Be steady. Your steadiness will evolve to sincerity. It's like you go from time to effort. Your sincerity will lead to you being strong. When I use those words, that now you find your reference, sodhum. I'm only sharing it in an English way. Be steady, be sincere, be strong. This will all happen through Narayana. Narayana means Nara Ayana. Ayana means path. The path that a human, Naraha, is to follow. Where will this path lead? To Narayana. Narayana to Narayana. Narayana is Sri Krishna. I will share more tomorrow. Please reflect on 22 and 23 in terms of pleasure. From inspiration to application, your application was for you to reflect on the teaching that was shared from Vishnu Purana. Does anyone want to share their reflections in the chat? Some of you are thinking, what's an application? Purana. Here's what I had posted yesterday. As many contacts with desirable things a creature makes, so many are the spikes of sorrow driven into his heart. In other words, every time I live for pleasure, in a very strong way, I'm killing myself. If someone put a spike in my heart, I would be dying and die. That's what pleasure is. Your application for this morning, tomorrow we complete 85 weeks of meaningful mornings. Please share what you have learned. Please share what you have felt. This is sharing week. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.